we go above and beyond in just maintaining the relationship. And then also a lot of my clients end up becoming my friends on different levels. Like,
welcome everyone to the Closing Table Podcast, real accounts from real estate professionals brought to you by WindowStill. I'm your host, Kat Schooler, and today I'm sitting down with real estate agent Suzette Berkhalter with Keller Williams out in Orlando, Florida. And today we talk about how Suzette found a passion for real estate after leaving a career as a paralegal, and how that background as a paralegal is such a value to her clients. We also talk about how she builds lasting client relationships through focusing on continuing the relationship after the transaction by continuing to provide client appreciation events. And then we also talk about the importance of continuous education, growth, and mindset in real estate. So without further ado, let's talk to Suzette. Suzette, thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to start off our conversation with how you got started in real estate.
yeah, absolutely. So it's a funny story actually. I was a legal assistant and paralegal in my past life. And then I became a mom. And the last attorney that I worked for, he actually was a corporate attorney, and we did mergers and acquisitions, and we did a few real estate transactions. So I learned the title aspect of it through him and working for him. And then I had my first baby. And everyone was like, oh, you're going to want to stay home. And I was like, I've been working since I'm 14. There's no way. And then, of course, I have her. And then my world completely changed. So then I'm like, well, maybe I'll be a stay-at-home mom for a year, right? Yeah, it's not for me. By like month 6, I was like, I'm going crazy. It's time to get back into, working. And then I just struggled for a little bit because I was like, I did love working in the legal field, but now I'm a mom, right? And I need the flexibility and I need to be able to, be present as a mom as well. So one of my other girlfriends, she was also a mom, and she was in real estate for a while, and she was, doing well, being present and still like, helping the family with the finances and things like that. And I was like, why don't I try it? I love houses. I know a little bit about the business already. She's doing it, etc. So then, yeah, I was just like, let me just try it. At this moment, I'm not working anyways. So I took the test, I took the course, I took the test, passed on my first time, and then like I just jumped in head first. And it's been a passion ever since. It quickly became like my everything outside of like my family. It was something that I just really like dove deep into, and my social media, all of my algorithm was like real estate groups, real estate, real estate, real estate, So yeah, so that's how I got started, and here I am 8 years later.
Oh, I'm so glad you were able to find something that not only like fit your lifestyle, but you were able to have a passion for.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your background as a paralegal really just set you up for success in real estate, understanding these contracts and things like that, and just having such a rich background in that makes you so valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. And I think it also helps with like being super organized as well because, it's so much that people don't recognize or realize, right? And for me, I'm just very detail oriented. So it's like we have to have everything in the system, we have to have everything on a calendar, we have to have like a detailed email going out to the clients and all of that. So yeah, I definitely attribute like my background in the legal field to helping me in this industry. And then also when I was growing up, I was an army brat. And I think that that also really helped me to be open to meeting new people and understanding different cultures and all of that, especially being here in Orlando where we're like a melting pot and we have a little bit of everything. So yeah, so I think both of those attributed to it.
Yeah, I often find that I end up speaking to a lot of real estate agents who, they moved around a lot and right, and then they find this passion for helping people find their home, and it's kind of an interesting through line.
It is. It is. I always am jealous of the people that are like, oh, we've lived here for 20 years. And I'm like, I moved every 2 years. I don't even know what that means? So I'm really good at packing. So yeah, but yeah, I think that it's definitely a benefit.
Suzette, so over your 8 years, I'm sure you've learned so much and you've built a beautiful database of clients and things like that. What is your approach to creating long-lasting client relationships?
Oh, I love that question. Yeah. So for me, it's very important for us to take great care of our clients while we're in the transaction, but it's even more important to take care of them after the transaction, right? I think that, especially because I work with a lot of buyers, we develop this relationship during the transaction. And I'm always like, at the end, we're not breaking up. Like, we're still here, we're still together. So we do a lot. My team and I, we do, well, it's just my assistant and I, who's also licensed, but we do monthly giveaways to all of our past clients. We do quarterly appreciation events. We actually have one on Saturday that I'm so excited about. I think it's going to be our best one yet. And then we also like provide them items of value. We send them monthly newsletters with whatever's going on in the market for them to just kind of know. And then we also provide them with yearly like valuation reports to see like, listen, if you guys want to make upgrades, you have this much equity, maybe you can get, you know, a HELOC or whatever, or maybe they're thinking about upgrading or downsizing and maybe this makes now financial sense for you and your family. So we go above and beyond and just maintaining the relationship. And then also a lot of my clients end up becoming my friends on different levels. Like I have the single ladies that I'll go to brunch with, or I'll have the moms and we'll have play dates, or I'll have the families that I just see like at the customer appreciation events. So yeah, so for me, I love the fact that I get to meet people and help them and all of that, but I love that I get to actually have a relationship with them after the fact. You know, I'm invited to baby showers, I'm invited to weddings. I'm always shocked, right? Especially weddings, because I remember mine was expensive. So they're gonna invite their realtor who they spent 3 to 6 months with. And it just like is a testament of the connection that we built during the transaction, you know. And for me, I think that probably is one of the main reasons why like I stay in this industry because it's definitely difficult, but super rewarding at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think people make all the difference. I've, had a lot of jobs over my life too, and the ones with the best people are always the best ones. And like you said, it is such a testament to you when they involve you in their lives in these big life events, baby showers, weddings, and I think that's just a reflection of the care you give. I'm curious about your client event. This might come out after it's already happened, but tell us what you got planned.
Yeah, so Orlando actually has a new hockey team that I don't feel like is really well known yet. And so yeah, so we rented a suite. We're going to be able to have up to 55 of our clients there with the families. We're going to have light bites and the bars around, and so it's going to be super awesome. We've done multiple events though. We've done like paint nights, we've done fall festivals, we've rented out bowling alleys, we've done like mommy and me photos. We've rented out theaters. For us, it's just like a time because I feel like everyone is always so busy, and I hate how you do go from talking with your clients nonstop during that time frame to then like life just happens and you don't talk to them. But then we have the opportunity at these events to be like, please let us love on you, let us pay for all this, take a break, bring your family, whatever, and then I get to love on them and catch up and reconnect for a little bit. So we're super database driven and we just love on our people. So our client appreciation events are everything. I always wonder though, like, how am I going to continue to top these, right? But we're in Orlando. There's always something to do.
Well, for sure. And I think it's not even like about like, being bigger and better. I think it's just about being so intentional. And I think that's, what you're doing. You're like, how can we involve like a whole family? Or I think like family photos is always a great one because like you're going to want it anyway,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I love all of those ideas, and I'm sure you'll keep thinking of new ones. So see, this is why I like to ask people so that, someone else listening can maybe take an idea for you and you can
I don't
listen
know.
to
Just like, let
another.
me know if you have any other ideas.
We did have one agent, she did a thing for Easter. It was really cool where she volunteered to put Easter eggs full of candy, the plastic ones, in people's yards. So you steal that one. She can listen to this and borrow the hockey thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. I think, yeah, it's just super cool. We did like medieval times, which is one of like the attractions here. That was a huge hit as well. Cause, you know, a lot of times these events are super expensive too. And we have families that have a lot of kids and sometimes they can't take them. So it's a blessing to be able to like partner up with our vendor partners to split the cost and then be like, please come, like just come. That's all you have to do. Just come. So it's awesome. Giving back
Yeah.
my love language.
Oh, yeah, and you're staying top of mind for them for whenever they might need to
Yeah,
upsize, downsize, relocate, whatever it may be.
absolutely.
Suzette, what would be your advice for first-time home buyers in the current market?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, in any market, I would say you can never start too early. I do think that, you know, some people are kind of think that they know what they're doing, so they think that they should wait. And I think that there's so much so much power in being able to not just rely on Google. Like Google can only answer so much, right? So I think that the number one thing that I always suggest to people is, even if it's a thought, whether it's you want to do it next month or you want to do it next year, at least have a conversation with a realtor that that you like and trust. And then if you don't, find them on social media. Find someone that you resonate with, that comes across as genuine, because for the majority of us realtors, we do these consultations for free. So there's nothing out of pocket, right? Especially for first time home buyers who are very money conscious and all of that. But I think that being able to have a conversation with a realtor to understand what's going on in the market, and then also to understand what's going on with your own personal situation and what you need to do to get a plan in place is super, super important, right? Like, where does your credit need to be? If it's not there, how can we get you there? How can we do it where you're not being scammed out of money by these credit repair companies? How can you do it where it's free by using my lender, who has a system that can tell you specifically pay off X, Y, and Z, and we'll have your credit score by whatever in whatever time frame? Or maybe sending you off to a credit repair counseling company that we trust, that will be able to provide you with like a free consultation or whatever, right? But then also, I think it's super important because a lot of times people will kind of use online calculators and things like that, and they'll kind of have an idea, right? And a lot of times they don't realize that those online calculators don't pertain to them and their situation, and that these, interest rates that they're dropping in there to calculate these amounts and et cetera, like it's just not reality, right? And then also, I think that it's good to be able to start early to know whether or not next month does make sense for you financially, or maybe if you can only qualify for X amount, maybe you then wait another year to be able to save down enough to be able to pay down the loan more, so that you're comfortable with the monthly payment. So ultimately, I think it's just a lot, and a lot of people think that they can find enough information online to get them to where they need to go, but at the end of the day, you need to find someone that is going to give you as much information as possible to help you put a plan in place.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's so deeply personal, and the real estate transaction, the lending transaction is so deeply personalized that you're just not gonna get the Google AI overview. Is just not gonna cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. ChatGPT can only do so much for you.
Yeah, yeah. It can maybe, teach you some lingo on, what is an earnest money deposit, okay?
Right.
But it's not gonna tell you, how much you can afford.
Yeah. And then that's the thing also too, sometimes people recognize that, oh, they think that they can afford, let's say, 400,000, but then they don't realize that their monthly payment is, let's just say, $2,200 or $2,500 a month. And sure, they can qualify for that, but are they comfortable with that? And then it also helps them to then be able to like really narrow down areas and neighborhoods and whatever's important to them, lifestyle, schools, distance from work, etc. So again, it just really helps them to put a plan in place so that they're more prepared when the time does actually come, that they're ready to move forward.
And then what would your advice be for sellers?
Same, right? No matter when you're ready, if it's already something that you're thinking of, it can never hurt to go ahead and again have a plan in place. Same with the buyers, right? Like with sellers, we want to make sure that the house is in the best condition it can be, up to whatever it is that you can afford to do to it to get you the most amount of money, right? We want to make sure that we can give you advice or guidance on what you need to do to get the house show ready. We want to make sure that you understand what the market is looking like, and we want to understand what your motivation is behind selling. We want to understand if it makes more financial sense to maybe do it now or maybe wait a little bit. Obviously, as realtors, we don't have a crystal ball, right? But we do know what's going on right now. So if it's even a thought, it doesn't hurt to at least have a conversation with a realtor to help you, again, get a plan in place to do whatever it is you need to do, whether it's renovations or whether it's upgrades, right? And renovations will help and upgrades will help also, but you don't want to do it on your own because you don't want to waste money. You don't want to over upgrade, and then it doesn't make sense for the houses that are being sold in your community, and then you wasted a bunch of money that you're not getting a return on when we sell the house. So ultimately, I just think even with sellers, no matter if it's today or next year or a couple years down the road, to go ahead and start finding someone that you feel comfortable with, that you trust, and that can give you the guidance that you need to be as prepared as possible.
I think that's great advice. I had a friend recently, they just got a new job, they're relocating, so they gotta sell their house, And they're like, well, I think I need to do some renovations. I said, have you talked to a real estate agent? And they're like, no. And I was like, talk to them first before you do anything, because you're on a time crunch. You're relocating for a new job that starts soon. You can't afford to waste time, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, people unfortunately think that they can do it on their own, or they think that they know enough because their uncle was a realtor or whatever, or they watch this show on HGTV. And the thing is that you really need to find an expert that is knowledgeable on the area and what the trends are and what buyers are looking for out there, so that again, you don't waste your time, your money, your effort on doing something that you think makes sense. Like, let's say, changing out your carpet that you know is trashed, but why not instead just offer a credit to the new buyer, because maybe the new buyer doesn't want carpet, maybe they want, wood floors or tile or whatever the situation may be. So I think it's really just important to be able to talk about all your different options and all of the different plan that you can have to just make it make sense for you and your family, because again, it's different for every single person, right? Everybody is selling for different reasons. So yeah. So my tip is talk to a real estate agent all the time.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. I think a lot of people see the binary, either like I do a renovation or I sell it as is. You know, they don't necessarily have the knowledge to know that there are these credits and different things that can be done to make their property maybe more attractive, make it sell in a more appropriate time frame for them. The things like you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like even right now, I have a seller, he's getting ready to put his house on the market and he's done some renovations, but in his specific area, and his kitchen needs to be completely redone. I was like, why would you even do it when every other house that I've sold in this area, every buyer comes in and everybody has a different idea? It's just one of those neighborhoods that it's not cookie cutter, everybody just has their own vibe and flow. I was like, this is a situation where you can just be like, it's your blank canvas, and here's the money that I'm going to provide you to be able to do whatever it is that you want for it. And I think that that's more attractive to buyers.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, sign me up. Okay.
Yeah,
Game.
right. Like, I want cards. I don't want granite.
Yeah, I want to pick my colors. Suzette, are there any particularly rewarding transactions you can remember, or maybe something that was challenging that you learned something from?
Jeez, so many. I challenging, I would say. I'm thankfully I'm very referral based, but I do at time. I would say I'm about 30% referral based, 30% social media, and then 30% from whatever lead generation activity I'm doing, right? And I remember this one time, and I love her now, but oh my gosh, she is from another state where they don't trust easily. She didn't know me from anybody. So it was challenging for her to like really take what I was saying as truth, as me, having her best interest at heart. So that was challenging. I mean, it was the one client out of 8 years that I was like, "I'm done. I'm ready to fire her. She can find someone else." I mean, it was challenging, but then I had to just kind of sit back and understand that cultures are different. Where you were raised and how things are done in other areas is different, and that she just didn't know me. So it was a challenge to just kind of take a step back from my own self and just listen more to what it was that was ultimately what was the underlying issue, right? Or the underlying reason that she was feeling certain kinds of ways, when I would be like, this is how things are. And she's like, no, in Florida, they're all crooks and they're all this and blah, blah, blah. So that was a challenge for sure. I think sometimes with challenges as well is, especially like last year and this year, is that some people are still stuck in the mentality of the COVID, where sellers still think that they can get, $40,000 over market value. And then buyers feel as though they can get that the interest rates are too high and that they deserve to be at a 2, 3, or 4%. So I think that those are both challenges that can be overcome with just education and showing the facts, right? Not just me saying Suzette feels like this, or this is what I'm seeing in the market. Like, here are the facts. Um, so I would say that those are some of the challenges that I've experienced, and I mean even as of late, right, with everything going on.
For sure. And then do you have like a particularly like rewarding and memorable client you've helped either buy or sell a house?
And I help a lot of relocating buyers, and I think it's rewarding when they're seeing the house for the first time because they purchased it sight unseen. My anxiety is like through the roof. I'm like, are they gonna like it? I mean, I gave them videos of everything. Like, is everything gonna, be up to par? So when they walk in, they're like, this is perfect. I think that that's really rewarding because it's a little scary, right? The video can only show so much. And so that, and then I do work with a lot of first time home buyers as well. So the people that think that they can't buy, and then I'm like, you can. There's this program available. There's these options available. We can ask for the seller to help you with, maybe the funds that you're lacking or whatever. That is super rewarding. And then all my ladies, the ladies that are single with no kids, when they buy their house, I'm like, you go, girl. Like, those are my girls. I'm so proud of them. I'm very, very always proud, because it's like, it's one of those things that they also don't think that they can do it, and you absolutely can. So whenever I have a single like woman who's professional and she wants to buy a house, I'm like, we got this. And I'm going to negotiate as much as I can to save you as much money. I mean, I do that for all my clients, but it's very, very, very rewarding when I help a single woman buy her first house.
Oh, that's so fun.
Mhm.
Suzette, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in your real estate career?
Oof, to pay your taxes quarterly. That's definitely one. But also, I think the biggest lesson is that if you are not learning and growth minded, you're going to struggle. This business is always evolving, it's ever changing, and you literally have to be paying attention at all times so that you can be the best, realtor to your clients and provide the best service. Because again, things literally change every day. And if you're not in the classes, reading the books, paying attention to what's going on, like you could, be at a disadvantage for your clients. So the biggest lesson is that you have to always keep learning and growing and doing the best that you can by educating yourself so that you can educate your clients.
Ooh, this is a great segue into my next question. What kinds of habits and routines do you have that help drive your success?
Yeah, so for me, my lead domino, like what starts my day off right is by working out. So people will see me on Instagram or whatever, like at 5 in the morning, like just worked out, I just did it, or something motivational. Because I know that if I'm able to do that, then my day is going to be super great. Like it's going to be productive. That's all that I need. And sometimes it's literally as small of a time of 15 minutes or an hour, right? But as long as I can just do that and get out of bed and knock it out, that's one of my biggest habits that definitely drives my success and my business forward. I also think, again, being super intentional about working on my mindset because a lot of people don't recognize that this industry is really hard and it's really taxing on your mental health and things like that and pushing yourself to continue to move forward every day, listening to podcasts, reading books, things like that. And it's something that needs to be done consistently and not just like when you're kind of in a lull or in a down, in a down mood. It's just like food, right? Like we need food to fuel our bodies, we need to fuel our minds as well, and we need to do it with positive things. So also with that being said, social media can be great and it also can be hurtful. So knowing when to kind of maybe take a break or maybe pause a certain group, that you don't need to see online is helpful. And then ultimately having a real estate coach and the right coach at that. I think that all the greats in anything have coaches, all the professional, football, baseball, everybody has a coach. And we equally need a coach for the accountability, for the wisdom, for the education, for helping through, leveling up in our businesses and stuff like that. So I would say that those three.
Oh, those are great. And yeah, I love a coach. I'm, also an artist. I do acting and I have an acting coach and things like that. And I think like it's so easy for us to be like, oh yes, athletes need a coach. Like that makes sense. But in other aspects, like we don't think about business people and entrepreneurs and real estate agents and other folks like needing a coach. And it's like, but why? Like what did you think? Like one day you'd step out of high school or you'd step out of college and you knew everything? Like no.
Hey, I'm still learning every day. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is it's tough because, some people don't. don't find the value in the investment, right? But then it's also like I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't make that, looking back, right? That small investment, even though it's a little scary and it is a financial investment. It's absolutely worth it. Like, why reinvent the wheel? If they've been in the business for so many years, they know so much more, right? Like, why fail forward yourself when someone can be like, don't do that, don't do this. Maybe we need to work on this. Like, I'm like, all day, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Easy.
And I think it especially helps in a career where you are an entrepreneur, you are your own business, to have that accountability, to have some structure, right? Even though you can still, quote unquote, make your own schedule,
Yeah.
there's structure in the accountability.
That 100%. Listen, my coach, and the thing is also, I think with coaching, while super important, it's also super important to be aligned with the right person. I've been in coaching for years, and while I did get things from my other coaches, the coach that I have now, I'm like, whoa, I wish I would have had her years ago. She's just taught me so many different things, but that takes time sometimes. But yeah, I think that definitely having the right coach in on your team is super, super important.
What is maybe one of like the biggest or most impactful pieces of advice your coach has given?
Darn, it was literally gonna come off of my, like, but she's like, don't ever tell anyone told you that. But I could say it when I'm at her funeral. I would say, and it's interesting because it's something that I tell myself, and I've told myself before, like, if them, why not me? And she says it in different ways, right? Where it's just like, you're capable, right? I think that a lot of times, she studied the mind and just like everything about people and how they tick, basically. And it's always one of those things where she's like, you got this, right? Like, you can do it. All you have to do is X, Y, and Z. Like, let's break it down, so that it makes sense for you. So yeah, I think that she's great at just encouraging, but also being, for me, which this is the kind of person that I am, which is like, just give it to me straight. Like, just tell me, like, basically, you were supposed to do X and you didn't do X. So what are we gonna do about this? Not that nice, but so yeah, so I think the best piece of advice is just, if them, why not me, right? Like, there's nothing holding you back that you can't be at whoever you're looking up to or whatever. You just have to put in the work. And what's stopping you from putting in the work? Let's focus on that so that we can get over that. And then she's very, very, very into mindset work as well. She's actually, I almost said it earlier and I might have, but she's the one that, like, gave me the analogy of, like, you have to fuel your body with food, right? So it's not something that we can just work on mindset whenever we're in a weird space or whatever. It's something that has to be work on, so that when life hits you, you're prepared and you're strong enough to handle it.
I think that's great advice. I think, like you said before, social media can sometimes get you down, and you can maybe need to take a break from people who are like maybe quote unquote living your dream life. And that might be the best course of action for when you're really in a downtime. But that also could be fuel. It also could be aspirational. It also could be your drive, like, because if them, why not me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, you can't, what's the saying? You can't judge your chapter 12 to someone's chapter 29 or whatever, right?
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
the worst at quotes and telling things like that. People will laugh whenever they see this. They're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh," but you know what I mean. Like, and that's what's hard, is that you can, on social media, like, look at someone and be like, "Geez, like, they're doing it. I feel like I'm doing the same thing," but you don't know, right? Like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know how long that they've been, like, grinding and hustling and working to be where they're at. But that also doesn't mean that you can't be where they're at.
The subject of social media, since it is a significant part of your lead generation, how are you approaching your social media lead generation?
Yeah, so thankfully it's organic for me. I just am who I am, and I think it's what's brought a lot of my clients to me. Obviously, I love to put out content that's educational, but I also like to provide people with not only items of value, but also entertainment, right? And then I also am like, I don't have two different pages. It's one page. You're going to see me and my kids. You're going to see me, like I said, at 5 in the morning looking crazy, working out. Like, we got this. It was only 15 minutes, but we got this. Or they're going to see me going crazy, pouring myself a glass of wine because my kids have been driving me crazy with homework or whatever, right? But then they're also going to see the wins of what I am able to do for my clients. They're also going to see the challenges. I just like to be real and raw and honest. And I think that that's attracted a lot of people to me. And so I don't necessarily am purposeful on saying that I want to do this specifically, but I just like to post a lot of different types of content that can have people just relate to who I am as a person, but then also show them that I'm great at what I do and that I love what I do and that I'll be their bulldog if they need me to, or, I can be their friend at brunch, whatever it is that they want to do.
I think that's a great approach. Suzette, we are coming to a close for 2024. I'm wondering if you started your goal setting for 2025 and how you're approaching that.
Percent. Yeah, we always like to start in October because basically right now is the beginning of 2025. So it's something that my coach and I have been working on as well. So yeah, we're ready. 2024 was an interesting year business wise, but also personally for me. Yet it's going to be one of my best years yet. So for me, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I am always leveling up. What is it that I can do to provide a better customer experience? What is it that I can do to provide even more knowledge or information or education to people on social media? How can I stand out differently? How can I, again, just provide value? How can I better my processes, my systems, all of that? And that's something that I work on every year. So yeah, we're excited. We already started working on that, and we're ready. 2025 is going to be a great year, I think.
I'm excited for you. Yeah, I always love a new year. Like October is my favorite month, but now it's like practically over. So I'm
Yeah.
ready. I can jump ahead. No,
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, I'm ready for January 1st. Let's go.
good. I mean, we'll hit Thanksgiving, we'll hit Christmas. That matters to me. And then we'll just go January
Yeah.
1st.
Yeah.
Well, Suzette, it was so lovely to talk to you today. Would you like to let everyone know how they can follow you and work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Instagram is definitely the best place, and it's just my name, Suzette Berkhalter. So it's SUZETTEBERKHALTER. All of my contact information is on there, and I follow back.
Awesome. And we will link your social media below so that everyone can find you with just a click. Suzette, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Kat. It was my honor.
Thank you for listening to the Closing Table podcast brought to you by WindowStill. I'm Kat Schooler. Please be sure you're following our podcast on Apple or Spotify. And if you're part of our YouTube audience, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are enjoying our podcast, please feel free to leave us a comment or review. It helps us find more amazing listeners like you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.